Hello everybody, my name is Danny and I do all types of YouTube videos. Um, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Um, in my previous YouTube videos, um, in my previous YouTube videos, I reviewed the Star Wars original trilogy, then the prequel trilogy, and in this video, I will review the sequel trilogy. That is, of course, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and the Rise of Skywalker. I'm just going to time this to make sure that I stay on track here and don't go too long. It's very easy to very easy sometimes to lose track of time and go a little too long than you should. And for those who don't know, just wanted to just make a little bit of an introduction. Like I've basically done a lot of regarding the Star Wars movies. I've done a lot of the other reviews previous to this one, so I'm not going to repeat myself. And but I just wanted to say that as I'm a little biased in the fact that I am a big Star Wars fan. As you can see, I have the Star Wars poster. As the logo says, it's the Star Wars, the Force Awakens, and this prop here, or not really a prop, but it's my Star Wars toy. It's Darth Vader in that famous scene where he goes to Luke after cutting off his hand, and he says something like along the lines of Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father. And if you press a button, it'll say that, and then on this toy, and then if you press the button again, it'll also say something like what they said in the movie, together we can rule the galaxy. So this is a very iconic scene. So I'm just going to see if it works. So yeah, previously when I had it, it did work very fine. I think it's one of those things that's very similar to when you have a watch, right? You know how when you put a new battery into your watch, and you try to do that on your own and it doesn't work, and then you bring it to a professional, and it's usually because the contact metal has to be in a very specific spot, and it's very similar to that, because I changed the batteries a few times, and now I'm thinking it is one of those things, but maybe one day I'll take it to a watchman or something like that. Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to start off with The Force Awakens. First of all, I just also want to say before I forget, and I always say this, but I found just through experience that when you make these types of videos, whether they're video blogs or whatever they are, it's very hard. It's just like any type of presentation, a speech or anything. It's always better to come in prepared, right? Because if you're not prepared to do one of these types of videos, then you're going to forget things. You're going to forget important things, right? And also, like, just the flow of everything is going to be off, right? So your organization, maybe your grammar, and like the coherency of the whole presentation, and the chronology and all that type of thing, right? So I found that just through experience that sometimes I would do that. So I found it's better for me to document everything. And so for me, I document everything by writing everything down, right? And so it's not the best, it's probably not the perfect way to do it, but it's much better than me forgetting things or that type of thing. So that's what I'm doing when I'm looking down at my notes. So, but I'll try not to stare too much at it. So like I was saying, so we're going to start off with The Force Awakens. I was very impressed with Kylo Ren's costume design. The mask, the voice, the suit, and the cape were all very impressive. Later on, I clued in that it's Kylo's tribute to his idol, Darth Vader. Also, his new cross sparkling, sorry, yeah, his new sparkling cross red saber was also very innovative. As the next thing is that I noticed that as I'm not a fan of duplicate names in general, really, I didn't like how the writers named him Ben Solo, confusing him with Ben Kenobi, right? I mean, some people always thought of Ben Kenobi as Obi-Wan. For some reason, I always had referred to him in my mind as Ben Kenobi. I don't know why. But so like I said, just why like use the same name and confuse, right? And just add to confusion. So the next thing is I found BB-8 was a very good upgrade from the legendary R2-D2. The, the dark the Dark Vader mask used as Kylo's tribute was very creative, I found. I really like that Solo was killed by Kylo in the movie. Previous movies of these Star Wars never permitted such murders, so this was a refreshing twist for me. So the next thing is the new villain in the movie, Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah, that's his name. Supreme Leader Snoke was very refreshing to me. I thought his appearance was very unique, and his persona was a good fit, and his model design, which fluctuated with computer imagery, was a good balance. Overall, I really like the movie a lot. So we're gonna move on now to let's talk about now. Let's talk about The Last Jedi. So one of the things that I noticed about The Last Jedi was Luke's exile island of, I'm trying to pronounce this right, Ashto, was formidable, with amazing natural landscapes along with magnificent traditional builds. In in the part of the plot when Leia was blown into space, then basically in a coma for much of the movie, almost classifying her as dead. I wondered if the writers really did want her dead, definitely by the next movie. Although her real life death did not impact this movie at all. So you kind of wonder, right? Towards the end, having Rey magically lift all of those huge boulder rocks into the air like that. Remember in the scene where they were, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm getting this right, where in the front part of it, was that big, huge metal door, and people couldn't figure out if there was another entry or exit. And then they found out that there was another opening through those little animals that were kind of like cats, and they were like white cats, but they were sparkly, and they made that that jingly little noise, right? And then they followed those animals like towards the back of the cave, and they saw those little animals, which are kind of neat to look at, by the way. And they walked right through a bunch of rock boulders, right? And so they knew that in order to get rid of those, they had to get rid of those rock boulders in order to get out. And so they had Rey, like I said, just use her Jedi powers to move all of those boulders. And I think that was a little too much. Um, that was just a little like too it's just, there has to be a line where like things cannot go beyond like realism to a certain extent, and I found that was just a little too far. And then after that, how there was only a handful, of that whole resistance army go into the Millennium Falcon, basically leaving all of the rest of them to die. I found that a little bit ridiculous. However, overall, I did find it a good movie. So now we're gonna move on, and let's talk about the rise of Skywalker. So this, of course, was the final movie of that sequel trilogy. So one of the things that I found was Kerry Russell as Zori Bliss. Again, I don't know about the pronunciation of the character, Zori Bliss, but Zori Bliss was amazing. An amazing character. Great costume design with a futuristic intellect at that time. Very impressed. I also liked Kylo Ren's mask upgrade. The rest trimmings were really in his character for that movie, let's say. Okay. So, the other thing that I liked was I really liked the Sith Wayfinder concepts in the movie. Their mapping idea as well as their appearance was really impressive. Later on, when Rey discovers the hidden blade in the dagger to pinpoint the Wayfinder in Palpatine's chamber, that was amazing to watch. I also thought having the Death Star return in this movie was a brilliant idea. It was very nostalgic to see the major historic parts of it, including Palpatine's room, his iconic chair, the windows, the stormtrooper remnants, the cannons, and all of the perfect cinematic details. Palpatine's secret lair was also fascinating, as well. The choice of an oceanic geography was brilliant. The next thing that I wanted to mention was I really liked how Rey used Luke's iconic X-wing fighter, powered it out of the water, and also the way that she wore his same iconic helmet. I also found that it was truly emotional. It was truly emotional at seeing when the Great Lando appeared with hundreds of volunteer starships in a galaxy fleet. who heard their signals and came to help. That was pretty like, you know, it's when you watch a movie that's pretty serious like that, and then it's like you see Lando, and you kind of have that attachment to him because I really liked him in the previous movies, right? And and I believe that if I'm if I'm not mistaken, in that scene too, he was in the Millennium Falcon again, and you have that attachment to the Millennium Falcon and all these things that you know you had a connection with in all the previous movies, and they brought all of this stuff back, right? They didn't have to because a lot of that stuff is outdated in the current real age, right? But for people who saw those older movies, to see those old things and to be able to reconnect, like the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing fighters, the TIE fighters, right? All that stuff was just so uplifting. Um, the next thing I wanted to mention was the final duel between Palpatine, Rey, and Kylo was very creative. Palpatine's new twist um, on this final on this finale kept us questioning and was very unpredictable compared to past final duels, right? So when you watch that, it's you kind of like it's sort of as the movies progressed, sort of that final scene sort of progressed with it, right? So kind of like in the beginning, it was just about like killing the person, right? And then watching more and more movies, it was about like you know they added this thing where they use a lot of like mind control, right? And especially in the last movies where they tried to mentally connect Kylo and Rey, right? That was really never done before, right? And then for this scene, it wasn't just about killing Rey or having Rey kill Palpatine. It was more. It was so Palpatine's thing was it was more kill me so that Rey could become the ruler of the galaxy, right? So that was just a very different type of twist, right? And whether Palpatine could sort of get Rey to go there, right? And with the sort of like framework of if you don't do this, the entire rebellion army is going to be completely destroyed, right? By the ships of the Final Order, right? So this was all really different. So the next thing that I wanted to mention was one thing that I did find confusing was when some of the Sith Final Order Star Destroyers remains were falling onto the onto the forest moon of Endor, with Ewoks watching by. When the second Death Star was destroyed in the close proximity of Endor in Return of the Jedi, the location of Endor had become surely well known throughout the galaxy. Exegol, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the new planet where the Final Order was taking place, would have been picked due to its distant, unknown location. So it makes no sense to me how seemingly close Exegol is to Endor, as depicted in that scene of Ewoks. Perhaps I'm missing something there. Overall, I really like this movie. I also wanted to mention that that light flicks on and off. It'll probably be on in a couple seconds. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was was um, when when Carrie Fisher died in real life in December of 2016, I thought the storylines to the rise of Skywalker really had been basically ruined. But what I found was a perfect movie which brilliantly tied everything together. I had thought the plots had to have been planned in advance for all three of the sequels. But after doing some research, none of them were. And to be able to adjust, sorry, and to be able to adapt a changing circumstance, as Carrie Fisher's death, real life death, um, into an altered storyline with such perfection was just remarkable, in my opinion. I rate The Rise of Skywalker higher than the other two movies in the sequel. So that pretty much wraps it up. I don't really want to keep this video to go too long, right? So the only ones left that I haven't watched and haven't reviewed are Rogue One and Solo, right? So I perhaps might review Rogue One and Solo, but just look out for that. And I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap it up and say thanks a lot for watching this video. Thanks a lot for watching all my YouTube videos, and make sure that you subscribe. So hit that subscribe button, click on, for notifications, there's 3 categories. You should click on all of them so that you get all the notifications, so that whenever I post a new video, you'll get that notification. So by the time you watch it, it won't be outdated. And yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it there and say, may the force be with you.